Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and in today's video, we are going to be covering the next community questionnaire that we are going to be partaking in. This is a goodie. Don't know if I'd say an oldie, but a goodie, but it definitely will probably be a goodie. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up, because it helps out a lot. So, what are we going to be covering today? Well, we are going to be covering trash talking. Questionnaire will be on the Discord, pinned comment, and in description for a link to that down below. You can find this by going onto the Discord, going to the reaction roll channel, selecting Call of Dragons plus jumping, third from the left. Once you do that, if the Call of Dragons plus jumping section does not pop out, you will just simply come down here, click, go to CoD questionnaire, and you'll be able to find the announcement that, at least when this video releases, I will already have posted it. So just before. In addition, this is where you can come to also get notified for future questionnaires. Also, when we post part 2s, which is the voting portion, once part 1, that's how we do this, right? So part 1, which is what we posted now, once this video is released, is going to be for name submission. So this is for you to submit a player's name, submit the information. We'll go over that in a moment. Part 2 is where you vote on the names that got submitted, or the most amount of votes that got voted. The way we've been doing it so far is that as long as someone votes or submits a name, I'm including it in there. If it ends up being where we just are getting too many, then maybe I'll change some things up. But at least for the first round on these, I want to try and at least include as many names, if not at least all the ones that get submitted. So that way I can use it as a learning experience where if we end up doing a round 2 for any of these, I'll have a better gauge going forward on, okay, well, this is the amount that got submitted in part 1 when we did it last time. Maybe we'll try some things different and we'll kind of go with the total amount of people that got mentioned, and then maybe we'll fine tune it to a top 20 or something. But at least for now, that's how we're going to go about it. As far as the questionnaire itself, that is really comprised of just a couple questions, as always. This one we asked you, and this is the breakdown we have, right? So we allow for 1 to 2 days to submit someone's name, right? This is part 1 that you can see here. And again, right here, right? So that's the first one we're doing. Once that concludes, I'll close it down, and then I'll start compiling all of the responses for all the names that have been submitted, and I'll add that onto part 2. That is where I'll then announce that on my Discord. We'll usually give about 2 to 3 days at least for people to submit names, and then also for me to look at around day 2, day 3 to see the names that have the most amount of votes or a top number of votes, and I'll start reaching out to those people to ask them for a comment, especially when we do videos like this. It is encouraged, I like to feel so, because it's been pretty well received thus far, to get, funny comments or responses from the people that I reach out to, letting them know, hey, you might be featured on the list. Maybe you want to double down. Maybe you want to, show some love for your haters/supporters. Maybe you want to write a nice haiku, whatever your fancy is. Shout out to someone, etc. So far, I think the responses, in my opinion, and the comments from the people that make the list have been the most enjoyable to read so far, and are definitely a highlight in this series that the community, I feel, has also been equally fond of, we'll say. But we just asked, right, please post the alliance tag in the name, right? You can copy and paste their in-game name if easier. What is, and so we asked, right, here's the question, right? So who is the best trash talker in COD? The question 2 is, what is or are their best trash talking line or lines that they use the most or are most known for? Because I would imagine that, again, if you are someone who has a player that is in your alliance or one that you know of that talks a lot of trash, they probably have to have a set of lines or some go-to lines that they probably use a little bit more often than others, and maybe some that they're known for, or even just some of their top stuff, maybe some of the top shelf stuff. And because I was thinking maybe that could be cool to kind of work into on if we get a bunch of submissions, And people are also saying, yeah, these are the lines that I thought was funny, or that, we often hear from them. Maybe I can include that as some of the players' top lines that they'll use to kind of show you maybe their style of trash talking, right? So that's something. And then we just ask, what kingdom are they in? Now, once we get to part 2, we will eventually work in, as usual, for the names of everyone that got submitted. We'll probably do another one of like, hey, what questionnaire would you like to see next? Now, I don't think the trash talking one, I think this one was in the top 5 for what people wanted to see. I will acknowledge this as well, is that I know the most of the votes did go towards wanting to see a questionnaire on the hottest ladies or the lovely women of CoD. However, I'm now thinking, and this is, I'm just going to point this out because this is where my head is going on this, is that if I was going to do something such as the loveliest ladies or the gentlest gentlemen of CoD, is that, one, they'd have to have pictures on their galleries. 2, I would have to reach out to them and say, hey, is this actually you? And then 3, right, if it's just one of those things where, then what happens if I post it, we show, because obviously we'd have to show the images, and then people are like, oh yeah, that's not really them, they lied. It's one of those things where, as I'm thinking about it more, it feels like there's a lot more hoops to jump through with something like that. Again, do I still think that it could be fun and could be an interesting thing to do maybe at some point? Maybe. Do I also think it could be cool if maybe we just combined it and we just said, hey, here's the hottest people in CoD, and maybe we have it, where it's like the men and the women are kind of going up against each other on the totem pole? That could be maybe something. I don't know. Well, I feel like I need to think it out a little bit more before we potentially commit to something like that. So we'll see. Again, I think there's a lot of other interesting questionnaires, if not equally interesting questionnaires, that I would love to do as well. And so this, I think, is just the next one on the list that we will hit. I was also thinking about the one where, and I'll show you it here, because what I'm going to start doing is I think I'm just going to keep a list and just check off all the ones we've done so far. But the one I do really want to do is the alliances that hate each other and would never team up. But the thing I'm thinking about, and I'd love to hear what you guys think on this, my thought is, well, is it something where I want to ask people, as far as you all, the community, or is it maybe better if I go and ask the leaders themselves, right? So I'd love to hear what you guys think on that. If we were to do that next, or maybe if not the next, maybe the second to the next one, I'm definitely high on that one right now, because I think it would be such a fun one to do. But part of me wonders if maybe if I ask the community, would that maybe skew it? And then if the leaders or management teams, the officers come out and be like, no, that's not right, we would totally team up with them. So for me, it almost feels like one of those things where if I'm going to do that video, I have to do it, and I have to announce it, and I have to say, listen, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to message all the leaders. And if you are a leader or current leader of the alliance, because I'm going to message you in game unless you want to reach out to me, right, you can let me know, right, what alliances would you just never team up with and why? That, I think, now that would probably take a little bit longer to do because I'd have to go through and message. Now, thankfully, we have our round table, so I have a lot of representatives from a number of alliances where we could do that. But that kind of video probably would take maybe a day in and of itself, maybe 2 days max, just to allow me to go and reach out. Now, maybe we do it where it's the top alliances, right? So maybe we don't reach out to every single alliance, but maybe instead of like the top 25 alliances, maybe we do like the top 50 or the top 100 alliances, and like who would they not team up with, right, and why? So maybe something like that we could do. Like I said, when we do these questionnaires, it does intrigue me a lot, because it really makes me it allows for me to start thinking about how can we fine-tune things to really, make them work in kind of the best light that we're able to produce them in. And as always, if you guys have other ideas for questionnaires, let me know. That's going to do it for me. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this one for the best trash talker in CoD for October 2024. Yeah, man, this I'm excited as always. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.